Hey, it's Austin. Well, it is November 7th, 2018, the day after all of the election stuff for the House and Senate, all the local governments and stuff. And I tell you what, I am very excited that the race is over because all of this drama and controversy and people putting signs up all over the place and voicing their opinions and concerns and stuff about all of the political stuff that's been going on for the past several months with all the campaign stuff going on. It's just, I don't know, man, it just seems like it's gotten everybody kind of all up in just bad attitudes, a lot of controversial stuff. I drive around Lubbock and there's signs just everywhere for both parties. The big deal here in Lubbock, Texas, has been between Beto and Ted Cruz, and Lubbock is pretty hardcore conservative Republican place by nature. But because of Texas Tech, there are a lot of liberal people that live in Lubbock that are here that, in my opinion, they probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for Texas Tech University. And so there is a very strong presence of Democrat, liberal people here because of Texas Tech. And I don't know, it's kind of a weird deal. I think that the voting numbers, and don't quote me on this, but I think Lubbock County was like 66% or more for Ted Cruz. And I don't know, that's kind of, it's usually a lot more Republican than that, but I have always been traditionally a conservative Republican. I have views that are a lot more liberal than most Republicans. But when it comes right down to it, all of the core policies, all the core things, the differences between liberals and conservatives, I tend to side more on the conservative side. But I don't know, like, I don't buy signs. I don't put signs out for, my candidates and stuff. Because it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of weird and awkward for me. I have, a landscape business. We work for a lot of people in Lubbock. And we have a lot of people on service contracts where we work for them every week, year round. We're around them, on a regular basis. We have a lot of customers that are Republicans, and we have a lot of customers that are Democrats. We have a lot of customers that put Beto signs out there in their yard, and then we have a lot of people that put Ted Cruz signs out in their yard. And some of these neighborhoods, like I've seen some houses that have literally like 5, maybe even 10, Beto signs or whatever. And then across the street, next door neighbor, they have equal amount of Ted Cruz signs. And, it's like they're in a war against each other. And they are just standing out there in their yard, just screaming at the top of their lungs, like, that I hate you and I hate your policies and your way of life, and my way of life is better and this is why. And people posting on Facebook and Instagram and stuff constantly their political opinion and views and stuff, and kind of letting the world know what they feel is good or right, and they want everyone to side with them. I don't know, it's been crazy. And even with my kids, especially Taylor, who is 6, she is old enough now and smart enough now to kind of pay attention to stuff like this and to listen to it. And, we watch the local news, especially, and some of the national news, and it's all over the place, and we see signs up everywhere. And so we've been talking with her about all this stuff quite a bit, and it's crazy how how things can be. And even with my daughter Taylor, when we found out that Ted Cruz won, we were excited because that's who we wanted to win. But Taylor was like super excited, and she was like singing and dancing and jumping around and kind of just super excited. And I had to tell her, Taylor, you need to be very careful what you say and how you act about stuff like this, because there's people that don't agree with you or me or our opinion on stuff like this, and they don't like Ted Cruz, and they wanted Beto to win. And because he didn't win and Ted Cruz won, they're going to be kind of a little bit upset right now because of all this stuff. And so you need to be very careful. And I don't want you to be mean. I don't want you to be rude. I don't want you to be saying, things, out in public or to people or anything. I was like, your teacher at school, your, daycare staff, different people, they may, be big Beto supporters, and they may be, liberal, Democrat people, whatever it is. And I don't want you to be mean and rude about this. If Beto would have won, then we're going to be equally nice and respectful towards him and the people who voted for him. And we're going to make the best of whatever situation we're in. We're going to make the best of it. And I don't know, winning and losing and, competition and stuff like that. It's always hard. We play all kinds of sports and stuff. And, whenever we win, a lot of times, we're very, happy, obviously, and it's fun and this and that. And then whenever we lose, a lot of times, it's not so fun. But that's life. We're going to win some, we're going to lose some. And, the majority of people probably lose a lot more than they win when it comes to a lot of different things that people do. You're not going to be a winner all the time. And so we all need to be respectful towards each other's feelings and emotions and opinions and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I think that, hopefully the news and all this stuff will wind down and just kind of go away. Hopefully, quickly in the next few days. And I hope that, we can all as a country just be respectful towards each other and help each other as much as we can. And, just because, your candidate wins, doesn't mean that you need to be standing on the rooftop, shouting and yelling and, showing everybody all the statistics and numbers and like, oh yeah, we've got this, we're going to be able to do all this stuff now. No, I think it's better to just be kind of calm and quiet about it. Lead by example, lead by generosity and compassion. And you're never going to change somebody's view by trying to belittle them or insult them. And if you're trying to let the world know your views and what you think is right and this and that by arguing and fighting and trying to make the other side, look bad or something, that is a terrible way to try to recruit people or try to convince people to possibly change their mind or something. I think that it's not even really, to me, it's not really about changing people's minds as much as just being aware of people's feelings and emotions and just being, very careful and considerate about all of that stuff. No one likes, super controversial people that are, really strong out there on pushing whatever it is they're pushing. It's not a good way to do it. And, if we weren't so hardcore Republican, hardcore Democrat, and things weren't so, sided, I think that this world would probably be a lot better place. This country would be a lot better off if people could vote more on just, actual policy, what they feel is good and, bad and right and wrong. And if there weren't sides as much as just people that, feel a certain way about, all the major, topics. And if people voted just straight off of what they feel is right and wrong on policies and what people vote on and all, I think that, all this voting of, actual people would be totally different. And I think that's kind of one of the most important things to me when it comes to voting for people is if someone seems really, really nice and cool and great and they look great and they sound great and they feel great, okay, you're naturally going to want to vote for them and you're going to want to support them just because of that good feeling, okay? It's called sales. It's being a salesman or a saleswoman. And there are, politicians that are great, at selling themselves, at selling whatever, it is that they're trying to sell. But if you look at their voting record and you look at what their core values and core, things are on all the different controversial things, they may not be anywhere in line with what you actually, believe is good and right and stuff. But because they look good and they feel good, you want to vote for them. And I hate that. And then, same thing goes for the other side. Sometimes there's a candidate that doesn't look great. They don't sound great. The way that they talk and the way that they debate and the way they do things just kind of rubs people wrong. And people don't like that person nearly as much, just as a warm, fuzzy, good feeling, person. But their policies and their core things are exactly, what maybe, you or I or whoever, agrees with more. But when it comes to actually voting for him, sometimes it's kind of hard to vote for that person because it just doesn't feel good. And it's pretty much impossible to have candidates that are going to be perfect in all of those different things. And you're probably not going to agree with them on every single thing. But I think to have, some of the main, most important things that you're voting for, which, is, the abortion, gun rights, border security, military funding, social welfare programs, environmental things, that's where the majority of the differences are, and other topics too. But that's what people really need to look at. And, if they had a ballot that just listed off, all of the Democratic major things and all of the Republican major things, and you just voted based off of, which one you wanted, and then it tallies it, and at the end, it tells you that, like, based off of your, picks on these, listed categories, your vote is going to be Democrat, or your vote is going to be Republican. It's like, I think that there are millions of people that they would probably vote opposite of what they normally would if they actually picked on those party line topics. If they didn't know who was who and they just picked on those topics, the person that they would actually vote for would probably be switched. And I think that's super unfortunate and just not, I hate the fact that there's so many people that vote for certain parties and their own morals and ethics and values and stuff, they don't line up with that person, but they just vote for whoever they like, whoever they feel looks cool and sounds cool. But I don't know. It's just a part of life. It's something that we all have to deal with, and I know that I'm going to be, very respectful towards other people's views and concerns. And for all of my, conservative friends, when I hear them, talking bad about the Democrats or something, especially in public and this and that, like, I do not want to be a part of that. I don't like anybody being rude or offensive towards any race or class or political, preference, whatever it is. Same goes for the other side. If I hear a bunch of, liberal Democrat people bashing the Republicans and doing mean, rude things, to them, I don't like that either. But I don't know. I just think that we all need to be careful how we act, what we say, what we do, and yeah, be kind, be nice. So, peace.